Hello everyone, and let's start this video lecture. And you are studying and learning constant motion and constant relation. And the constant relation related to a string block system we have understood, and we did a couple of examples on that. To make it more clear, let's have a few more examples. So this is the first example we can think of, and this is the arrangement. So what this arrangement says, this is a pulley which is fixed, so this pulley cannot move, this can rotate only, you must be knowing that. And similarly, this is also a pulley which is fixed with this ceiling, and it cannot move, it can rotate. And this is a string, and this is another string, they are connected with another string, and then there is a block connected, and this point of the string and this point of the string is being pulled, and it is said that this is being pulled downside with velocity v0, and this is also being pulled downside with a velocity v0. So you are pulling this P into two terminals with a velocity v0 downside. You might be asked about the velocity of this block. So we need to find what the velocity of this block is. So some of the common sense and then constant motion idea will be helping us to find this answer. What is the common sense like when you are going to put this point downside? So this point will go upside definitely, this point will go upside definitely, this will cause this point to go upside. So point is that the velocity of this capital M can be thought of in the upward direction. So this is going to move in the upward direction. So let's say it is moving with velocity v. This velocity v we need to find out. So it's going to be symmetrically upwards, and that's what we need to find out. So what we can do is we can apply this rule, summation of t dot v equal to 0 for all the blocks. We can solve this by n number of ways. So this is the way we are focusing upon. And what does this mean? So wherever the these terminals of the string is coming or blocks are connecting, you need to watch that thing. So this block is connected here, right? So you can see what the tension here is going to be. That's you are going to look for. And at this point, you can there's no block, so you can think of that there is a block, or you can think of a point here, just like a block. So if you look at this point, so this point will be experiencing tension in the upward direction. Tension has to be looked at on the object that is connected or someone who is pulling it down on that. So it's going to be in the upward direction. That's a T. Because of symmetry, if this string carries tension T, so this is also going to carry tension T. Now we need to know what the tension this carries. The tension comes on that block, right? So let's call this block carries tension T1. Now here we will be because this is a different this string. So we cannot say this is a T, so we are calling it as a T1, or let's say we are calling it a T dash, any different name you need to give. These two are identical because of symmetry. So here you will find three terms coming in. It's going to be for this one, then this second, this is third, this is how we can consider them. So if I write directly, it will be some sort of this. This is equal to, for this first one, is going to be minus t into v0. How it is coming minus t into v0? Because this t and this direction, they have opposite direction, so cos 180. So t v0 cos 180 is a minus. Let's come to the next one, this one. Again you see it's going to be minus t v0, so it's going to be minus t v0, minus because of the dot product. So minus t v0. Now let's do this dot product for this block. So it's going to be plus t dash v equal to 0. From here we can find this thing. This is what we make it a 0. So let's proceed further, and we can write it as t dash v is equal to 2t v0. Now here t is not getting cancelled out, so we need to find a relation between t dash and t. How we can find that relation? This is also an important point. You need to look at it carefully. So this is junction point. You look at this junction point. So let's draw this junction point separately. In this junction point, you will find there's going to be a tension acting in this direction. That's a T. That another tension will be acting in this direction. That's also going to be T. And another tension is acting downward direction. That's going to be T dash. So this T dash is coming because of the string downside. And these tensions are basically force acting on this junction point because of the various string, and the tension's direction is towards the string at any point with which the string is connected. And you will find that there's going to be a reference line, so that's a reference line. Again, the junction point that we have drawn is of a zero mass because of the reason that it is massless string. So we can make the components that we have already understood. This t is going to have a component in this direction. This t is also going to have a component in this direction. So total component will be 2t cos theta, t cos theta and t cos theta. This will have this component as well, t sin theta. And there's going to be another component for this t in this direction, t sin theta. Since it is a massless, whenever anything is a massless, so F equal to ma, accordingly to this, net force must be 0. So net forces are adding up to 0. So you'll find the horizontal component of forces, they are equal. So they are 0, equal and opposite, isn't it? And vertical components are also has to be equal and opposite. So that will give us the value of t dash. So t dash is going to be equal to twice t cos theta. Now you can put the value of t dash back on this, and you will find t is getting eliminated. Then after, it's going to be twice t cos theta into v is equal to twice t v naught. And you'll find twice t cancelling out, so this v is going to be equal to v naught divided by cos theta. So that will become your answer. So that means the velocity of this block is going to be in the upward direction, and it is going to be equal to v naught by cos theta. V naught by cos theta. And where v naught is this velocity, right? And since this is coming as a positive, so you can think of that the direction that you assumed is the correct direction. Now you can also handle this question in a different manner. So there are a number of ways to solve. Another method I'm also going to tell you that you might be trying and you might be getting confused about the answer. So if you're not using this properly, then you might get a wrong answer. So you might think of that if you look at this string and you look at this string and you look at this string, right? So you can also think in this manner that this is moving with velocity. This point is moving in this direction with velocity v naught, because this entire string is going to move with v naught. Similarly, this point is also going to move in this direction with v naught. So if you are thinking in this manner, that we can do the components of v naught just like we did this for t, and we can find the total velocity in this direction, so that will be the answer. So that will be the wrong stuff. The reason being, this velocity of this point, which is going to be in the upward direction, or of this point, this is the final velocity. So you say this is the final velocity. So this v is the final velocity, and this will have its component, right? So this will act as a component of this velocity. This will also act as a component of this velocity. So you can make this velocity component in either of the two directions. So let's say we are making in a particular direction, so we are considering only this apart. So this v can be made two components, one in this direction, this angle is theta, so this component will come v cos theta, and another component you can draw perpendicularly v sin theta, but that's not needed over here. So that means this component is equal to this. So from here you can call it as a v naught is equal to v cos theta. But we are interested in v, so v is equal to v naught by cos theta. So what I'm trying to tell you, which is the component, which is the final or total, that has to be determined first. Then only you need to make component. So for this point, this is the final velocity. And if it is final vector, then this will have its own component. So its component will lie in this direction, not otherwise. Not otherwise means it's not like v naught cos theta is equal to v. So if you are writing this as a v naught cos theta is equal to v, so that will become a wrong stuff. Makes sense? So sometimes this becomes confusing if it is not clear. So you can use this. This will give you a right answer anyway, and it will not require this kind of interpretations. But if you are doing this kind of interpretation, so whatever the point you are writing, you write first the final velocity, then make the component of final velocity, and then say that the two components are equal. Okay, let's take another example. So there is a picture and there is a question. You can pause and solve if you want. Otherwise, you need to follow this. So it says that there is a block A which has a velocity 0.6 meter per second to the right. Determine the velocity of B. So there are two blocks. This is A, this is B. And this is the fixed surface on which this arrangement has been made. And this is to this has a velocity towards right. So this is VA. We need to find the velocity of VB. So let's assume this velocity of B is downside, or you can assume upside. So whatever you are assuming, accordingly you will get your sign value, and then we will change it. And this is given to us. So VA has been given to us as 0.6 meter per second. And then we need to write the tensions and all that stuff. And we can apply this summation T dot V is equal to 0. So solution will go like this. Summation of T dot V equal to 0. There are two blocks, so we need to apply for two blocks. So let me draw these tensions. So let's assume this has a tension T. The tension will be acting on the block in the direction upside, and this is the velocity. So that's a B. This string is the same string, so it will have the same tension. This string passes through over this, so this will have the same tension. This passes over through, so this will have the same tension. This also passes over through, so this will also have a tension up to this point. Now at this point, what is happening that need to be understood. At this point, this is being tied. So from this up to this point, it is not tied at any location, it's free, and this is like this. So this entire portion will have a tension T, no matter where you are looking for. However, this portion is tied again, so that will be behaving like a different string. So we need to find what the tension here is going to be. For that sake, what we can do, we can draw this separate picture of this pulley. Which pulley? The pulley that is hanging, this pulley. And let's see what are the tensions acting on this and how much they are. So if you look at, so there's going to be a tension acting on this because of this upper part of the string. And then you'll find tension will be occurring in this direction as well because of this lower part, because there is a string like this. So you consider this, imagine this string a part of it. So these two strings will be pulling it in this direction by T. Moreover, this is being tied by another string like this, so this string is also going to pull it like this, and this will also have a T tension because this is the same string that we have just talked about. Now there's a third, the next string is this, which is connected, and this tension we are looking for. So let's say this tension is T dash, and we have talked about these pulleys are massless, so net force must be 0, so net force must be 0 on any pulley. Now this pulley is not clamped, that means it is not fixed to anywhere, so there's going to be no other force coming in. And moreover, if you look for the gravitational force and other stuff, they are going to be perpendicular. So we are doing the force balance in the horizontal direction. So we can say whole force balances are in the horizontal direction, so you will find T dash is going to be basically equal to T, that is 3T. In fact, as we have talked about, they are massless, so there will be no gravitational force. So point is, these are the only force acting. And if these are the only force acting, so they must have add up to 0. So right hand forces must be equal to left hand forces. So T dash is come out to be 3T. That means this string is going to experience a 3T tension. If you have got it, then it's almost over. Now for this block you got T and V. For this block you have got T and you have assumed V. Now you can put the values. So if you go ahead, you will find for the first block A, for the A block, they are in the same direction. So if they are in the same direction, so going to be tension, which is 3T, into velocity, which is VA into cos 0 plus. Now come to this, they are in the opposite direction, so it's going to be cos 180, which will make it negative, so minus T into VB, this will become equal to 0. Makes sense? So that's the velocity of B. This is how the velocity A and velocity B will be connected. Now if you simplify it, so T is getting cancelled out, it's coming out like VB, velocity of B point is 3 times velocity of A point. This becomes the constant relation. That means this is how the velocity of block A and block B will be related. Now if you make this kind of arrangement, then you'll find the velocity of B will not be same as the velocity of A, neither the magnitude. And you'll find this velocity of B will be 3 times the velocity of A. That means this will be moving faster and as faster as 3 times of this velocity. And if you are looking for the magnitude, you can easily find out it's going to be 3 into VA has been given as 0.6. In proper SI units, so velocity of B point downwards is going to be 1.8 meter per second, and this is in the downward direction. Since it's come out to be positive, so whatever the direction you have opted, that is the correct direction, right? So this is the formula of constant relation whenever there are blocks and strings connections. So you can use this formula and it will give you answer. What need to be taken care of is to find that right tension on the block, and then distributing this tension, how that you can find the right tension or connected tension by drawing the picture of that pulleys or how these tensions are getting transmitted. Another point that need to be kept in mind is these pulleys and strings are massless, so you can always use this by writing the force on pulley or any part of the string. Okay. Here is the next question. It says find acceleration of C with respect to ground. So this is a picture. So let me describe what the picture says. This is a block A, this is a block B, this is a small block C. And this is connected by arrangement of pulleys and strings. How strings are connected, let me show you. A string is tied with A, then goes over this pulley which is connected to B, then again another pulley which is connected to B, then goes to the pulley which is connected to A, then finally gets connected with C. So this is the C block. This is how this arrangement has been made. And these pulleys are of the respective blocks, as you can see. And what else is given to us is that this block A is moving with acceleration small a in this direction. So let me make this big picture. So this is moving in this direction with small a acceleration, whereas this block is moving in this direction with acceleration which is given by small b, which are shown over here. They are small letter figures, so I've shown over here. We need to find the acceleration of C. Now you see, this A, B, C, their motions are constant. If you are moving this A in this direction and B in this direction, then you'll find C has to move, right? And how the C is going to move, that's what our concern point is, and that's what our question is. And that also we need to find the C with respect to ground. So ground with respect to ground, how it's going to move, what acceleration it is going to carry, that's what we need to find. So what will be the idea? So idea is going to be the same. You will be using this summation of T dot A. As I have told you, in case of acceleration, you write T dot A for acceleration for all the blocks, sum them up and put it 0. Okay. So once you do so, you will get your answer. Okay, so let's proceed, and you will also learn some points, writing the total tension and all that. So let's draw the picture separately. So let's say this is a block A, this is a block B. I'm showing a bit separate, and there's a block C which I'm showing over here. And in these blocks we need to draw their tensions and their accelerations. So A, B and C. Now let's try to find the draw the acceleration as well as velocity, tension on this first part, A part. So A is having acceleration there, so acceleration is clearly visible. Now look for the tensions. So tensions are coming because of the pulleys. So this carry a pulley. So what we can do, we can think of this as a pulley. So pulley is a part of this, we can think of, because pulleys are massless, and this can be part of this part. Now in this pulley there will be tensions acting. The string goes like this, so this will apply tension like this. The string goes like this, so it will apply tension like this. Moreover, a string is connected here, so this will be pulling like this. So these are the tensions acting on the block A. Think of, I hope you can think of, and this is a pulley. You can think of this as a string like this. Now come to this block B. This block B having these two pulleys, so we can think of one pulley is this, another pulley is this, and they are the part of the B block. And these pulleys carry the string, so string will be pulling it, so there will be a pull force T. Same string, you can think of this as the same string, right? So same tension at all points. And this will having a string like this, so this will be pulled like this, T. Similarly, there is going to be a string wrapped like this, so this will have a tension T downside and one tension T in this direction. So these are the tensions acting on the block B. Now let's come to the C block. On the C block you will get this is the only tension that is acting, isn't it? And what about this B block's acceleration? That's clearly a visible, that's a B, that's a given basically. We need to find the acceleration of this C. With respect to ground that too, right? If you look from the ground, then you'll find this C will be moving in the downward direction as well as in the forward direction. So there will be two components. So let's decide the two components. Let's say this component of acceleration, that is horizontally, is A1, and another is downside, that is A2. So C will have these two components. We will try to find A1 and A2, then total component of acceleration, or total acceleration will be calculated. Okay, so we can use some vectors so as well here. We can think of this as x direction I cap, this is y direction j cap. And because we need to perform this dot product, so they are the vector product, vectors dot product, so vector has to be written. So let me write, we are going to write it as a t dot a for the first block or block A. Then we will apply this t dot a for the block B. Then t dot a for the block C. And this must be equal to 0. Let's see what is the total tension acting on the block A and what is this dot product with the acceleration. So this is the total tension acting. Can we say the total tension in terms of vectors is going to be t plus t, that is 2t in the I cap direction. So 2t in the I cap direction. And this t is acting downside, so that is minus j direction. So minus t j direction. Or you can say t in minus j direction. This has to perform with dot with this acceleration, which is in I cap. So you can write it as a I cap. So this is the dot product for the first, that is A. Now come to the second, that is B. What is the total tension acting? You can see these are the 4 points. You can see this t and this t will get cancelled out. So in nutshell, there will be no in j direction, only in this minus x direction. So you will have a minus 2t I cap. Why? Because this direction is minus I cap, you can think of. And what is the acceleration? Acceleration is also in minus I cap, so it's going to be minus b I cap. So this has to be a dot of these two vectors. Now come to the C. So tension is in the j cap, so you can write it t in j cap. This has to be made the dot with acceleration. So we have assumed acceleration in this manner. You can assume in either of the way. One component is along x, another in the y. You can consider upside as well. So whatever you consider, you stick to that, and then later on you will be realizing the sign of these values, right? And then you can change the direction. If A1 coming is positive, that means it's correct. If A2 coming is positive, that means this is correct. If they are negative, you can reverse them. So A of C is written as A1 I cap minus A2 j cap. This must be equal to 0. Now here you need to use these vectors and their dot and all the properties that you know. This I cap dot I cap when multiplies leading to 1, and this I cap dot j cap will become 0. So basically this first term will be twice TA, and the second term, this minus in minus will become plus, so it's going to be twice TB. Can you think of? And let's come to this this part. In this part you'll find j and j will be multiplying together, and I will be making dot 0, so it's going to be minus t times A2 equal to 0. You can take this t common and cancel it out, so that you will find t is so you will find this A2. I'm writing this directly A2. A2 is going to be equal to twice times A plus B. That means you can write twice A plus twice B. So that's A2. And A and B, they are the magnitudes. That means they are the positive numbers. A2 came out to be positive. That means A2 direction is correct. Now from here you can calculate this A2. You have got rather A2. What is A1? How to get A1? So here you need to put your brain. Like A1 is the acceleration of C in the forward direction. And who is moving the C in the forward direction? It's A. So there is also constraint. That means A is going to push the C together. That means A and C will remain in contact. That means A will be moving, if A is moving with the acceleration A, then C must be moving with the same acceleration in the horizontal direction, which means to say A1 must be equal to A. Are you getting this? This is also a constraint, a small constraint. That means A block is pushing C block. So if A block is pushing C block in the forward direction, so C will be having same acceleration as that of A because they remain in the contact. Since they are in the contact, so they will have, both will have the same acceleration in the horizontal direction. However, in the vertical direction, they are not equal because A is not moving vertically down and C is sliding downside. So downward acceleration is this, and horizontal acceleration, that is A1, is going to be equal to A. Now you can write the acceleration of C with respect to ground. This is going to be A1 I cap minus A2 j cap, that is A I cap minus A2, which is 2 times A plus B j cap. Makes sense? So this will become the total acceleration of C with respect to ground in this constraint motion. So you can see this is a constraint motion in which 3 blocks we are considering, and we are simply following that rule, summation t dot a, writing for the 3 different blocks, then using the vector notations because they are dot product, and then simplifying them. And this is also we are finding a constraint because they are moving with the same acceleration, the same direction, they are in contact in the horizontally direction, and then this becomes your final answer. Okay, now let's consider the next example, and in this we are not considering pulley and block or string system. This is some rigid bodies like a rod. So what the question is, you can see this. This is AB, and AB is a rod. Rod is a rigid object, you know that. And this is A terminal, and this is a B terminal. This is placed on two vertical walls. This is a vertical wall you can think of. This is a ground. So two vertical planes you can think of. And at certain angle this makes angle theta, or at certain instant it makes angle theta. And at this instant the velocity of this A point is downside with u, and we are supposed to find the velocity of B point. So at this instant what the velocity of B point is going to be. So again, this is a constant motion. If this point is moving, so B has to move because this is a rod connected that is a rigid body. So you'll find this B will be moving, and our common sense and practical experience will clearly say that this B must be moving in this direction. So let's call this velocity as V. So this velocity V we need to find out. Of course, B cannot go downside because of the rigid surface. Similarly, this B cannot go backside. Why it won't go backside? Because this is coming downside. So this has to go like this, isn't it? And this V we need to find out. So direction is clear. Magnitude, how much that is going to be. So let me solve by using the basic method, and then we can have another methods as well. What is the basic method is that I'm going to explain over here. You consider this point as a origin. Locate the location of A and location of B using the kinematics. Let's say location of B is indicated by position X. So at any instant B is X distance from the origin, and let's say this A is at a Y distance from the origin. Okay, and let's say rod length is L. What is important over here to know that the length of the rod is not going to change. That means this is a constant. Now this will lead to the constraint. Now if it is a constant, so derivative of this must be 0, as we know. So what we can do, we can make a relation between X and Y with this L, and we can differentiate it to find the relation between the velocities of point A and point B. So can we say from here, so clearly x square plus y square is going to be equal to L square, Pythagoras. Now you can also use this theta, but you will find this theta is not a constant. Theta is going to vary when this rod is going to make like this, so theta will decrease. So theta is a variable. So we will try to use a constant with those variables which are of our interest. This will be unnecessary making the equation complex. Now let's differentiate this. So we have understood the rule of differentiation. So differentiation will lead to what? We are differentiating with respect to none, so it's going to be twice x dx plus y square will get differentiated as a twice y, power formula. 2 coming front, and this is 2 minus 1, which is 1. And since this is y, so we will write as a dy is equal to d of this, that will become 0. So this is going to be differentiation. Now this is a differentiation without any reference. If you want to differentiate it with respect to time, so this will become 2x dx by dt, and this will become 2y dy by dt. So that become with respect to time, and this L is not changing with any respect. So this will lead to some sort of this dx upon dt. If we are interested in this dx upon dt, so this is going to be equal to minus y by x. This goes that side, x goes downside, you know that, and this becomes dy by dt. Now then you can use the kinematics rules that we have understood. This is x, that means position of this particle, and the rate at which this position changes, that becomes the velocity. That means dx by dt is equal to velocity v. What about this y? You again looking for this, the rate at which this position changes is this velocity of this point, but this velocity direction is downside and this position is upside, so they are opposite. To catch this, you will find dy by dt is equal to minus u, or you can write minus dy by dt is equal to u. Both are the same thing. Now you just replace these things, then you will get your answer. So this will become equal to this dx by dt is the velocity we are looking for, minus y by x. Now in this triangle, theta is varying in such a way so that tan theta is going to be at any instant y by x, and the instant we are using for that theta is given to us, so y by x will be tan theta. So wherever you are getting this y by x, you write as a tan theta, so that becomes tan theta into velocity of this thing. So what is that velocity? So that velocity is minus u, so you write it as a minus u. From here you will get the value of v as v equal to u tan theta. U tan theta, that will become your answer. That means the velocity of B point is going to be u tan theta. That means it also depends on the theta. That means at what instant or at what angle you are finding the velocity. So this velocity will depend on this angle as well as this velocity, right? And this becomes your answer. So this is the basic way. That means you just find out what is the fixed value or constant, and then make the relation between the positions. So that will become the position constraint, and then differentiate it to find the velocity constraint. Further you differentiate it, you'll find the acceleration constraint, and that will be done. Now this can also be handled another ways, and this another way that I'm going to tell you, that's also important, and sometimes it gives you answer very quickly, and that's again common sense. So let's say this is the rod we are looking for, we are discussing about, and this is point A, this is point B. Now we know this rod is a rigid body. That means its length is not going to increase, not going to decrease. So we will be drawing the velocities of the terminals. A point velocity is downside, so that's a u. And this is what we are looking for, is the velocity v. So these are the final velocities. Now we can make the components whenever and wherever needed. Now you will find that this angle was theta. Of course this will be 90 degree. So this will be 90 minus theta. If it is 90 minus theta, then you'll find the two component of this u. Make a velocity component of u in the direction of a rod. So this point will have a velocity component in the direction of rod. And this will be, this angle is given to us, so you write it as a u cos 90 minus theta. Cos 90 minus theta is basically sin theta, so that's a u sin theta. That means this u will have a component along the rod as a u sin theta. Moreover, you can make the component of this v as well. This is the final velocity, so you can make a component of this along the rod. Now this angle is theta, so this is definitely theta. So you'll find this will become v cos theta. I'm only considering the components along the rod. Now that means this point will be moving towards the rod with velocity this, and this point will be moving away from the rod with velocity this. And we know this length between A and B is not changing. So that means the relative velocity with respect to A, or relative velocity of A with respect to B, or B with respect to A must be equal, because the distance between these 2 points is not changing. So they must not coming closer, neither they must be moving in the forward direction or further direction. That means the separation must not change. So relative velocity will be 0. That means they must have a same velocity along the rod. So constraint is what? Same velocity along the rod. You can use this point, and that will give you answer quickly. So this is the final velocity of A, this is the final velocity of B. Then we made the component along the rod, and we are going to claim that they must have the same direction. So yes, they are having the same direction, and they must have the same magnitude. So let's write the magnitude equal. So v cos theta should be equal to u sin theta. We were interested in this velocity v was unknown, so it's going to be u sin theta by cos theta. Sin theta by cos theta can be simplified as a tan theta, so u tan theta. You are going to get the same answer as you have already calculated. Now consider this next example, and in this example we need to find the velocity v and u interrelations. That means constraint relation. We need to find what is u. U is the velocity with which this rod is going downside, and v is the velocity with which this wedge is moving in this direction. This is a rod which can move only vertically downside and upside. This is a wedge which can move in the horizontal direction, and the constraint is visible. So we can solve it in various ways. So let me tell you some important ways. First is the basic one. So first of all, we will be opting this origin. So let's consider just below this on the ground, we are considering origin. So this is origin that has been chosen on the ground. So that origin does not change. And let's say, and we know that this any point of this wedge will have the same velocity v. So no matter which point you consider. Similarly, any point of this rod will have the same velocity u, because all the points having the same has the same velocity. So we will be considering this point, the tip point of this wedge, as x. Let's say that's a distance x, and this point of this rod as a y from this origin, and origin is on the ground, so this is y. At any instant of time, you can relate these two x and y as shown in the picture, like tan theta is going to be equal to y by x. So from here you will get y is equal to x tan theta. This is how this x and y are going to change. Theta is going to be constant because theta is the angle of the wedge and it's not changing. So that's a rigid structure. Now then you differentiate it. Once you differentiate it with respect to time, so it will convert into velocities. So this will become dy by dt is equal to dx upon dt into tan theta. Now let's write what is rate of change of x is. So dx by dt, this is the rate at which this x is changing, but this is going to be the velocity of this tip, and this velocity is in this direction, which is opposite to this. So you are going to write it as a minus v. Similarly, dy by dt, that is rate of change of y is going to reduce over the time because this is the velocity. So you are going to write it as a minus u. So what the equation will become? So this will become minus u is equal to minus v tan theta. Minus and minus will get cancelled out each other. So v will be this u will be equal to v tan theta. So this is how the two velocities will be linked together. What are the two velocities? The velocity of wedge and the velocity of rod. This is how you can find the constraint. That means you find any point on the two bodies, one point, and then relate with the angle that was given to you. Another way of solving this can be this thing. That means whenever the one body slides over on another, they remain in contact. So since they remain in contact, so this contact surface is shared by the two. That means they are not detaching. So that means whatever the velocity is going to be of one along this perpendicular and another along this perpendicular, that will remain the same. So let me use this point. So what the point that has to be used? Velocity or acceleration, whatever it is, perpendicular to common surface, common contact surface, common contact surface for the two bodies are equal. Or you can say relatively there is no velocity and no acceleration perpendicular to the contact plane. Right. So let me draw another picture as well. So we can use this picture that has been drawn now, and in this picture this u is being indicated for this velocity of this rod, and v is indicated for the velocity of wedge. And this is the common platform or common surface. This is the perpendicular for both of it. Since this is perpendicular, so you'll find, let me draw them bigger size. So this is u and this is v. And both velocities component we need to find along the perpendicular, and they has to be equal. So you'll find this is 90 degree, this is theta, so this is 90 minus theta. You'll find this angle will become theta. If this angle is theta, definitely you'll find this is going to be 90 minus theta. So somewhere here is going to be theta. This angle is going to be theta. Now we can make the component of u as well as v, but our interest is all the components along this direction. So u will be having a component in this direction as u cos theta, and v will have a component along the same direction that we are considering this direction. This will be v sin theta, because another component cos will be here, sin will be there, right? So that's a sin theta. Anyway, and now we are going to say that this velocity, this is the velocity of rod along the common perpendicular, and this is the velocity of the wedge along the common perpendicular surface. These two velocities must be equal. So as you equate, you will find v sin theta is equal to u cos theta. So from here you can write u is equal to v sin theta divided by cos theta. and that will become v. This u is equal to v. U is equal to v tan theta. You can check you are getting the same answer as you have already got, and thus becomes quick as well. So what you need to do whenever one body is sliding or in contact, continuously in contact with another, so there must be no relative acceleration or no relative velocity in the perpendicular direction, because if any velocity or acceleration comes in the perpendicular direction relatively, then they will get separated. So the constraint is that they remain in contact. So whenever they are in contact, so velocity or acceleration in perpendicular to the common contact surface must be equal, or relatively must be zero. That's a critical point you can apply. Let us consider this another example, and that also related to constraint with rotation. So you can pause and solve. The solve is there. So it says a spot of light that moves in a horizontal plane with a constant angular velocity, and that is given as a 0.1 radian per second. That spot light P moves along a wall at a distance this from that. When angle is this, velocity of spot P is. So we can make a picture for this, how the picture is going to look like. Let me draw. So let's say this is a wall. We are looking from the top. This is a top view, and let's say there is a source located at this location. So this is a source or spot which is 3 meters from the wall. That's what it says. Let's say initially if it is pointing in this direction, then this spot will be formed over here. This is going to be spot P, but later on it is rotating. So let's say at any instant it is making theta angle from here. So it is pointing in this direction. This angle is theta. So if this spot is pointing in this direction, then you'll find light will be going like this. And the point P is going to be here. And this is a wall. So this point will have a velocity in this direction. So this is the velocity we need to find. So what is happening? This is something spotlight like torch or something, and it is being rotated. At any instant it is angle theta, and over the time this theta is going to grow. As theta increases, then this spot will be moving along this wall, and that is the wall. We need to find this velocity v when this theta becomes 45 degree. So this is associated picture. Understood? Now some points are important that let me explain first, then we will go ahead. This theta is called angular displacement. We will be learning it later on. That's called angular displacement. So it's a displacement, but it is in angular term. And whenever you differentiate a displacement with respect to time, you get angular velocity. So this is written as omega, and that's called angular velocity. So point is, angular velocity is d theta by dt. So whenever you differentiate theta with respect to time, so that becomes omega. Omega is called angular velocity because theta is called angular displacement. So these are some points related to angular parameter that are going to be used over here. Anyway, we are interested to find this v. So what we are going to do, we are going to assume that this is a point, let's say that's the origin point or something. From here we are measuring this distance of point P, and this point P is at any instant x distance when there is angle theta. And we are not going to place theta as 45 directly. First we will consider theta as a variable, then finally we will place theta as a 45. So we can make a relation between theta and x using this thing. Let's call this as h for the time being. So h is a given number, h is not varying, x is a changing, theta is a changing. So can we relate this theta and x with using this h as well? Yes, we can easily relate it. So the relation is going to be in this right angled triangle. You will be using tan theta or something. So this becomes tan theta is equal to perpendicular, which is x divided by h. H is a constant. So from here you can write this x is equal to h tan theta. Now this time theta is a variable, h is a constant, but still we need to differentiate it. So we will be differentiating it with respect to time. So that differentiation will lead to dx by dt is equal to h will be here. Now you need to differentiate this tan theta. So this tan theta will go to sec square theta and d theta by dt, because theta is a variable, right? So d theta by dt. This d theta by dt is called angular velocity, so we can call as omega. And you will find dx by dt is going to be this velocity v. So we are writing it, this is going to be velocity v that we need to find. This is h into sec square theta into omega. Omega is angular velocity. So we got a relation v is equal to h omega sec square theta. Now this is how velocity is dependent on h, which is the gap, that is 3 meter, and omega, this is angular velocity, which is given to us as 0.1 radian per second. Theta is in radians, so that's a radian per second. And theta 45. Now we can put the values to get your answer. So v is going to be equal to 3. Omega has been given as a 0.1. And sec square theta is 45 degree. And you know this sec 45 is root 2 square. After squaring you will get 2. So it becomes 0.3 into 2. Square of root 2 is 2. So that becomes 0.6 meter per second. Got to know? So this is how you can write the constraint motion or and find the velocity of the light spot on this wall. And what we have done, let me quickly summarize. We draw the picture, and this is theta angle, so we made a relation between this x and theta, that differentiated it, and then found this. What we have used is this d theta by dt is angular velocity and theta is angular displacement. Now here's a question for you to try. So this is the question, you just go through it, and let me explain what it is saying. There's a thread or string passing through this first ring and then connected to another ring. This ring is moving with velocity v1 downside, and when it is going to downside, you'll find this will move upside, so that's the velocity v2. We need to find the relation between v1 and v2. In fact, we need to find v2 in terms of v1. This angle is given as alpha at that instant, so you just can just solve it. And this is again constant relation between the motion of these two rings, and it is using a string, so you can use the summation t dot v if you want, or otherwise. Okay, so in this video we have considered couple of questions based on constraint motion, string block, and without a string as well. So they are very important. And in the next video we will be starting for Newton's laws of motion. Okay, thank you everyone, have a great time.